Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Going to give it a couple seconds to let everyone hop on, but thank you so much for being here today. Would love it if you guys could drop it in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We'll get started shortly. Just wanted to give you all a little bit of time to jump in here. Feel free to drop it in the chat and tell me where you're tuning in from today. Thanks so much, everyone. So we will go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's second installment of the LinkedIn Live series sponsored by Recruit CRM. Thank you so much to Recruit CRM for this opportunity. If you're not already following them, I highly encourage you to do so. They're helping to scale recruitment and hiring strategies in over 100 countries and definitely helping recruiters to stress less. My name is Chasity Douyon, and I'm today's LinkedIn expert. And I am currently a hiring manager, but I have a background in recruiting and also have a background in career services. I did over 2 years of recruiting and over 4 years of experience as a career advisor. I also have a background in community-based mental health. And I currently hold a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in counseling psychology. So today's topic is one that is near and dear to my heart, and I'm absolutely honored to be here today to talk about it with you all. I also like to share content on LinkedIn, so be sure to give me a follow. I like to share things about hiring strategies. I also like to talk about career tips and also share stories concerning mental health. Very big mental health advocate, utilizing my platforms to speak up and help to break the stigma. So to get started, today we will be talking about the stress less recruiter. Is it really possible to stress less as a recruiter? As a recruiter, we know we have so many things that we're juggling at one time. You're often working with things like multiple job openings. You're also handling the expectations from the candidates, as well as the expectations from clients and hiring managers. How can you truly make yourself stress less in times like that? Well, today we're going to cover a few tips to help you to do so. So to get started, I would like to talk about time management. Time management is something that we all need to learn how to really utilize when it comes to managing our day and getting through the tasks that we need, while also taking time to make time for ourselves. Time management doesn't always come easy. As I mentioned, we're working with multiple job openings. You're dealing with the follow-ups with clients and the follow-ups with candidates as well. But here are a few tips on some things that I like to do to help to better manage my time. First, you can start by helping to prioritize tasks. Not every task has the same level of urgency. So ensuring that you're prioritizing the tasks for the day based on the level of urgency can be super helpful. So it could be that you have a job that has an upcoming deadline that you're needing to really get some candidates through and get that job closed out. And you're also needing to conduct some phone screens for an upcoming job that you have that has a deadline that is a bit further out. That is something that you can do when it comes to time management. You can prioritize based on the level of urgency of those different job opportunities. I also like to do things like block out time on my schedule. When it comes to my calendar, I like to set different times to block out time to do things like source candidates, also conduct phone screens, and also time for just focus time. So these are some things that you can do with your calendar as you're going throughout your day, making sure that you're having that designated time set aside to keep you on task, to remind you that this time is set aside to do things like sourcing or conducting phone screens. And it also lets you have the opportunity to not have other people booking in that time. You know, those random pop-up meetings and things like that tend to happen. And if people have access to your calendar, they're able to see that you have that time booked off and designated for those certain items that you're doing. I also love this next one. This is making sure that you're saying no sometimes when it's needed. It's hard to say no to things because you're wanting to take on so many things, and you're wanting to prove yourself as you're in the different roles. But it's awesome to be able to have the opportunity to say no to things. Sometimes that means that we have to delegate to someone else on our team, or even ask for help from a manager of ours to get through those tasks, and making sure that we're setting aside time to ensure that we're doing the things that we're needing to do to best have the best response for the jobs that we're working. Also, setting expectations with hiring managers. We know that hiring managers are trying to get candidates in and through the pipeline, but setting those realistic expectations about things like the candidate's availability, as well as how things are going with the pipeline that you're utilizing for those hiring managers, ensures that you're having that good open communication with them. And setting those realistic expectations can really help when it comes to managing your time. The next topic that we'll share is about one that I love to talk about on my platform, and that is self care. I know that many times this is something that gets pushed aside, as we're often focusing on other things or other people other than ourselves, but you really can't pour from an empty cup. So, when it comes to self care, here are a few things that I like to do to ensure that I'm taking care of myself. One of the first things to do is to actually make sure that you're taking a lunch break. I don't know how many times I've worked in job opportunities where I have taken a lunch break and still been sitting at my desk and responding to emails while I'm eating. That's not taking a true lunch break. I recommend stepping away from the desk, stepping out of your office if you're in a designated office space from home, stepping away from your cubicle if you're working in an office, and going to a break room. Or you can even go outside. If it's a really nice day, you can go outside and take your lunch break there. Just doing something that can get you to step away from that environment of the hustle and bustle of work can be really good and relaxing for your brain. It can help you to better be focused and reset for when it's time to get back to the task after your lunch break is over. I also recommend setting small breaks for yourself. So, this could be something as simple as getting up maybe every 10 minutes out of an hour, or 5 minutes out of the hour, to ensure that you're stretching, getting up and taking a walk around the office, or getting something like coffee. This can be a way that helps to wake up your body a little bit. It's also really good for your health to get up and stretch and not be sitting in front of a computer for hours on end. Another thing that I like to do is to make sure that I'm using my PTO. Thankfully, I work for an amazing company where we have things called mental health days. We get one per quarter, and they do not take away from our PTO at all, but it is something that we can utilize if we feel that we're needing to. I can let my manager know at a moment's notice that I'm needing to take a mental health day. And it is something that is easily approved and something that we all have access to around our entire company. This is something that I wish all companies had, but something that we do all have access to is our PTO. That is time that you have earned, and you are able to use that. I highly encourage you to do so. It can be just taking a day off to do something that you enjoy, or if you have an upcoming trip planned with family, take that time, spend that time with your family, spend that time with yourself, to make sure that you're able to do the work that you need to do and to come back feeling refreshed and rejuvenated as well. And another topic that is near and dear to my heart is therapy. So, seeking out help when you need it. Therapy is not a weakness, but it is a solution. It is okay to not be okay. I think someone else needed to hear that again. So, it is okay to not be okay. Therapy is something that can help you when it comes to managing your stress, and also giving you coping strategies that you can use when you feel the anxiety or stress coming up in your daily life. It is something that I personally utilize and went to school for as well. And at one point was going to become a therapist myself. So it's something that I absolutely love sharing and talking about and advocating for, because mental health is real. And I love helping to break the stigma around it, having discussions around it. And it is okay to seek out help if you're needing it. Often companies have what is known as an employee assistance program, better known as an EAP. And this is something that provides things like mental health resources that often go unused each year by companies. So, this is something that you can tap into. They have free resources that often recommend or give you the opportunity to share things like having free therapy sessions. Typically, it gives you several sessions that you can do. So if this is something that you feel that you're needing, you can contact your HR director or tap into the benefits that you have and take a look at those and see how to contact for your employee assistance. Another thing that you can do is utilizing your community. I think having community is so important when it comes to your mental health. Thankfully, we have people like our friends or we have family members, but also, you have your coworkers. Some of them are in the exact same types of roles that you're in, so you can lean on one another. Sometimes it just takes having 5 minutes of time to vent to someone and let them know where you're really at, how you're feeling. And leaning into community is something that can really help us as we're trying to get through a tough time. I've actually been able to connect with several people on LinkedIn as well and have built quite a supportive community on LinkedIn that I can reach out to and vent to because they're in the same space that I'm in as far as industry wise. And we know that the talent acquisition and recruiting industry has taken some really hard hits in terms of things like layoffs and hiring freezes. And we have many people in our community who are currently unemployed. So being able to lean in and lean into one another in community is a beautiful thing to have. And don't feel bad about reaching out. It's okay to reach out. And again, it's okay to not be okay. So today I want to recap what we got to share. So we talked about time management. We also talked about self-care and seeking out help and resources if you're needing that. I want to again thank Recruit CRM for this opportunity. Be sure to follow them because there will be many sessions coming up that will be like this one with a variety of different topics to help you when it comes to recruitment. Thank you. And now I would like to take some time to open the floor to some Q&A. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat.
All right, thank you so much, Chastity. That was brilliant. Like Chastity mentioned, we'll take some questions. If anybody has any questions, you can drop them in the chat. We're currently live on LinkedIn and YouTube, so if anybody has questions, you can drop them on these two platforms. So we'll just wait for a couple of seconds to see if anybody has any questions. All right. In the meantime, we actually do have a question we received a while back. This is from a relatively new recruiter, so maybe we can start by answering that first. This might help some of the new recruiters who tune into our content and your content, with mental health. So the
Mhm.
question is, What's your advice for new recruiters entering the field who are feeling overwhelmed with the pressure? Because as you talked about, in this industry can be very overwhelming and demanding. So yeah, what is one advice that you have for new recruiters?
Yeah, as a new recruiter, I definitely remember that. I transitioned from being a career advisor and jumped into recruiting. Having not had any previous experience, and one of the things that really helped me was leaning into my team of individuals who had more experience than I did in recruiting. So the team that you're on can be super helpful when it comes to providing support for you. They helped me to learn different strategies to help make sourcing easier for me. They also taught me things like how to manage my time when it comes to, conducting phone screens, making sure you're getting in your notes and things like that. So something that's truly helpful is having that support system of a team or your manager and reaching out to them for additional support in If you're needing additional training, there are many different LinkedIn learning courses that you can take as well. So those kind of helped me also, gave me some different ideas of different ways that I could source candidates and also different ways to manage my time and learning more about the recruitment space. So I recommend always being a sponge and, just learning as much as you can as you're entering into the industry is going to be something that will help you in the long run. So utilizing your network and your colleagues and your managers, and then also taking a look at resources that are free and available to you, like LinkedIn learning courses.
All right, thank you, Chastity. We have another question. Umang is
Okay.
asking, how do you handle stress when you're juggling multiple high priority roles at the same time?
Great question. Yes. So that is definitely something that comes up. Sometimes you're having those high priority roles happening at the same time. So I think the time management tips of making sure that you're prioritizing the ones that are the most urgent. So if you're seeing that those deadlines are spaced out, prioritizing the one that has the earliest deadline. Also, if you're seeing that maybe you've been able to find multiple candidates for this one job opportunity, but you're having a bit more trouble finding ones for another role that you're working, setting aside that time on your calendar to prioritize, sourcing candidates for that job that you're needing a little bit of assistance with, or even reaching out and leaning into your colleagues to see if they might have any great ways, or great resources as far as conducting sourcing for those candidates can be super helpful there as well. But yeah, making sure that you're taking a look at those deadlines and constantly communicating with your hiring managers in your team. I'm all about open communication and letting people know where you are in the process. And that way it helps to set up those realistic expectations for when you're able to get a candidate in.
All right, thank you, Chastity. We have one more question. Ashish is asking, how do you handle stress with a packed schedule?
Packed schedule. Yes, I feel like that happens all the time too when it comes to recruiting. As I mentioned, you're taking phone, you're doing phone screens, you're sourcing, you're also communicating with your hiring managers. There are sometimes different things that are mandatory, such as different trainings that you're having to do for the company that you work for. So making sure that you're prioritizing things. One, prioritizing yourself also. Prioritizing your self care and your mental health. So sometimes that means stepping away. Sometimes we feel like, it's amazing to just get in the zone and just go with the flow for hours at a time, but really your body needs that break, your brain needs that break. And when you come back, you're able to be more refreshed, and it helps you to be able to be more creative when it comes to the ideas and different strategies that you can utilize when it comes to recruiting. But also, I recommend, again, managing your time well, making sure that you're setting out those blocks of time on your calendar to prioritize those levels of urgency needs that you have, and making sure that you're communicating with your team and setting up those realistic expectations.
All right, I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you so much, Chastity. We'll just wait for a couple of more seconds to see if anybody else wants to drop in any more questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, we have one more. Do
Okay.
you have any specific practices to help unwind after a long and tough day?
Absolutely. So, a few things that I like to do to help me to unwind after a long day, journaling, just kind of writing down about how I was feeling throughout the day, or maybe some high points in my day. I like to practice things like gratitude. So, some things that were really good that happened throughout my day. Especially if it was one that was particularly stressful, it might take a little bit more time to think about those things, but I like to try to make sure that I am expressing gratitude, for those great things that have happened throughout the day. And I also have an animal. I have a dog. So I love taking my dog for a walk, or sometimes just making sure that I take time to pet her throughout the day. I work from home, and she'll come in my office sometimes and want to be petted. And it often reminds me that, hey, I haven't taken a break in a while. So I sit there and kind of give her some love and attention for a little bit. And that really helps me, when it comes to like my stress level and having to unwind after a long day. I also love to laugh. Laughter is good medicine. So I usually will turn on a funny series or funny TV show and watch something like that to help me to unwind and laugh a little bit after a long or a tough day.
All right, thank you so much, Chastity. I think that's all the questions we have today. So yeah, thank you so much for joining everyone. Chastity, do you have any closing remarks before we end?
Yeah, just wanted to be sure to let you all know. Feel free to follow me. I would love to connect with you, and I definitely do like try to share things like self care tips, mental health, and also talk about recruiting and hiring. And be sure to follow Recruit CRM. There will be more events coming up like this one where you'll get to take in information and have the live Q&A at the end to ask questions. And if you're interested in their software, I highly recommend that you check it out. They are truly helping recruiters to stress less. Hope you all have a great day.
All right, thank you so much, Chastity. So, guys, everybody can interact with all the links in the comments now. We've shared links to Chastity's website. You can follow her on LinkedIn as well, and we've dropped some other handy links that you can interact with. You can follow us on socials, and yeah, thank you so much, Chastity. This was lovely, and yeah, we'll connect with you and everybody else at our next event. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Have a great day, everyone.
thank you, guys.